everybody. I'm Miss Barry. I either teach your child for IB Spanish SL2 or Spanish 3 Honors. It's nice to meet everybody. Here is my contact information, my email address, and my school phone number if you need to get in contact with me. So a little bit about my schedule. I teach Spanish 3 Honors all day on A day, and then on B days I teach Spanish 3 Honors, second block and third block, and I have one section of IB Spanish SL2 for 4B. On my Schoology page, students are aware of where to click the links to access the Zoom link for class right at the top of the page. And also right below that would be the link for our teacher office hours. If the students are welcome to come see us during the morning, 7:30 to 8:30, or in the afternoon from 2 to 4:30. All of our Schoology pages are organized by unit. So for example, we're in Unit 1. And we have a folder for each week that we're in class. So the students know when they come to class, virtual class, that they should be in the folder for whatever week we are in. And whatever we are doing, we do in order in that folder. So for example, we're in week 3 right now. That would be the folder they click on before they come to class. So they know where to access any materials that we are using or any assignments that are due that week. Additionally, in each unit folder, I have 2 other folders, Vocabulario and Gramática. The Vocabulario folder will have their unit vocabulary, the link to the Quizlet to practice those words. And the Gramática folder will also have additional links and practice activities for whatever grammar we are practicing in that unit. I also use those folders frequently for students who come to tutoring. So this information is if I have your child for IB Spanish SL2. The copy of the syllabus, which hopefully your students have shared with you, goes over the grading policy this year for virtual learning. Homework, classwork, and quizzes are worth 30% of their grade. And then IB formative and summative assessments are worth 70% of their grade. So what does homework, classwork, and quizzes look like for me? They have one vocabulary homework for the unit, which is a crossword puzzle, and 555, which is where they write 15 sentences using their vocabulary words. So they get that one assignment. Additionally, we do other practice readings or listenings that are not graded. They just, do them at home for practice, or we started them in class and they finish them at home and we review them in class. The IB formative assessments, which are graded on the IB scale, we do in class, and I'll go over those in a second. And then we have one vocabulary and grammar quiz at the end of the unit. So that's the amount of work you can expect from your students from my class. So what are the IB diploma formative assessments? There are 3. Well, technically 4. There's the oral, which is a speaking grade that they get every unit to prepare them for the oral portion of the IB exam. Prueba Uno, or paper 1, they'll have one written assessment. And Prueba Dos is paper 2, they'll have one reading and listening assessment every unit. So those are the formative, those are only worth 50 points. Their exams, which are the summative, they will always have a writing portion of their exam and a listening or a reading. And since that's the exam, those are worth 100 points, and they get one of those per unit. So the IB, whether it's a formative or summative assessment, is graded on the IB diploma scale, which is they get a grade out of 1 through 7. And depending on what they get as far as their strands and criterion based off the rubric, they get a score 1 through 7. So for example, if they got a 7 on their written assessment, they get 100 on the assessment. If they get a 4, they get an 80. So everything we do in class, these IB formative and summative assessments, are to prepare them for ultimately taking the IB exam. There are 3 portions to the IB exam that they will take. So the first portion is the oral, and they actually do that with me. So that will be usually planning on doing that end of February, beginning of March of 2021, next year. So again, that's something they do with me. That's something we've been preparing for since second day I've started class with them, where they have to describe a picture to me and have a 15-minute conversation about the topics that we have discussed in class all year. And again, it's something, it sounds a little scary, but that's something that they are constantly practicing. It's something that I get to do with them, so I know their strengths and weaknesses, and they're ultimately very successful on this portion of the exam. Paper 1 and 2 are the portions of the exam that they will take in May. So here are the dates for your reference. The students also have these dates. They will take paper 1, which is writing, and paper 2 on the same day, which is the reading portion. And that will be on Thursday, May 13th in the afternoon. That's about an hour and a half, 45 minutes per section. Paper 2 will be the next day, which is just the listening portion of the exam. Again, that's another 45 minutes. And we'll take that the next day, which is Friday, May 14th in the morning. So how does class look like for us? Usually when they're coming in, they'll have a warm up to do, which should only take them something quick, 5 minutes to do, so I can take attendance, say hi to them. And then we'll go over that warm up. Every Tuesday, it's the practice picture. They'll have a picture that they'll jot some notes down and we'll discuss. And this is how we practice for the oral examination in February or March. Then the lesson of the day, it depends on what we're doing. Usually it's me, teacher-led instruction, a lot of class discussion. Because of this course, we deal with a lot of advanced concepts. We're talking a lot in class, or should be talking a lot in class. Participation, I always ask for volunteers first. I might have to call on Victimus, but since this is an IB course, the discussion is usually very lively. Hopefully, if it's something that we can do, we will split off into groups often or into partner work in the Zoom breakout rooms to maybe work on a reading or do some discussion questions. Here's some examples of some of the stuff that we've been able to do virtually, and I'm very proud of the work that they've been doing. We've been using websites like Mentimeter to quickly jot down ideas, vocabulary, word. Another awesome website I've been using is Jamboard, where they can go into groups in their breakout room and collaborate to share ideas. In Schoology, we've been using the discussion boards to answer questions and comment on each other's ideas. And then I'm also using the website Flipgrid, as you can see here, where they can record themselves speaking. So even if they're shy in class and they don't have the opportunity to speak up, I'm assigning them questions and work to do on Flipgrid so I can hear their speaking and give them feedback individually. Socorro, one of my favorite words in Spanish. It means help. So tutoring is on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and the students know that they can sign up for that appointment slots using a link on their Schoology page. And then I really encourage the students, and they have been taking advantage of the virtual office hours to just come in for quick questions or for help. Like if they just want me to look at their homework right before they submit it, or, they have a question about an assignment that, it's much easier for them to pop into the office hours than send me a message. And those are from Monday to Thursday, again, from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning or 2 to 4:30. This information is for my Spanish 3 honors students, parents. So in Spanish 3 honors, the students are graded. 40% is their homework, classwork, their quizzes, and MYP formative assignments. And 60% of their grade is the summative assessment, which is their test. So classwork, homework, and quizzes, we have one vocabulary homework a unit. They do a crossword puzzle and a cinco, cinco, cinco. A cinco, cinco, cinco is where they have to write 15 sentences using their vocabulary words. So they have that one vocabulary homework each unit. They have various classwork activities to complete through Schoology that are graded based off of completion, and they will get a classwork grade at the end of the unit, showing that they have completed all of their classwork in Schoology. And then they will have MYP formative assignments graded on the MYP scale every unit, and I'll explain what those are in a second. And then they will have one vocabulary and grammar quiz per unit, and that will be at the end of the unit where I assess their knowledge of the vocabulary and the grammar structure we were working on in the unit. So what is an MYP formative assignment? There are 4. They're worth 50 points. We have to do one each unit. They'll have one writing, 1 speaking, 1 listening, and 1 reading. And those are all going to be worth 50 points. And then, of course, the MYP summative assessment is their test. It will either be writing, speaking, reading, and listening. The first unit, which is the unit we are in, it will be a written assessment. Next unit, it will be speaking. And then the last one of this semester will be a combination reading and listening. And since that's the test, it's worth 100 points. All of the MYP formative or summative assessments are graded on the MYP scale. So for example, and based off of the rubric, they get a number grade 1 through 8. So for example, if they get an 8 on their written assessment, they get 100. If they get a 4, they get a 78. And again, that 1 through 8 is based off of the rubrics that they're assessed on. So how does a Zoom class look like for me? When the students are coming in and I'm taking attendance, they have a warm-up that they can see. That usually is something quick that will take them 5 minutes, and we'll go over that in class. Usually on the first day of the week, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, I see them, it's a practice picture because their speaking assessments require them to be able to describe a picture and connect it to the topic we're talking about in class. Then the lesson of the day will usually be me leading instruction or class discussion with various activities embedded for them to do that are really quick that they might just do on a piece of paper. Participation is very important in the foreign language classroom, so I encourage volunteers to speak up to answer questions or ask questions. And at times I do call on victimas or victims because I want to make sure everyone's participating and getting the opportunity to practice their language skills. Frequently, almost every day, they will split off into breakout rooms to either work in groups or pairs to work on maybe a reading or do a practice speaking activity. This is the example of some of the awesome stuff that we've been able to do virtually. I'm really proud of them. We've been using Jamboard, for example, to do group work. They did an assignment where we pretended that we're going to the tropical rainforest and what would you pack in your suitcase? And so this was something that they were in their breakout rooms and they were able to add words to the suitcase as a group. Mentimeter is another really awesome site I've been able to use for quick warm-ups to ask them questions. We're doing Kahoot Challenge right now to practice our grammar, so they can log into Kahoot at any time to do our Kahoots, and they're competition style. So the first, the top 5 winners will be able to win a prize, and those are usually open for a long period of time so they can go in and do it in their leisure. And then I'm also using the website Flipgrid to assess their speaking. So, some kids are not as, outgoing in class. That's okay. They have the opportunity for me to hear their speaking and assess their speaking skills through Flipgrid. Socorro means help. So tutoring is Fridays from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And students know they can sign up for that using appointment slots, the appointment slots link on Schoology. And then, of course, virtual office hours is so useful, and I like how the kids are taking advantage that they can, if they just have a quick question about homework or they want me to look at their homework before they submit it or they're confused about an assignment, they know they can come see me, just pop in really quickly to those virtual office hours for help. And again, those virtual office hours are Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. and 2 to 4:30 a.m. 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that is it for me. It is nice to meet you guys. And as always, feel free to send me a quick email if you have any questions about my course. Adios.